Welcome everyone to the Thursday, February 22nd, 2024 Helm Developer Call. As always, this is under the CNCF Code of Conduct and all that goodness. So today I see we have an announcement from me. So we had a surprise security release this week because we had a security release last week in our normal slot, and then we had our meeting on Thursday, and then somebody said, "Hey, I found another issue." And then they emailed me back after I had proved that one out, and they said, and I think that was on Sunday I saw it, and they said, "Hey, I found another instance of the same issue." And so because it was a really easy issue to fix, it was one of those kind of how did we pull that off kind of thing. Um, it took about an hour to replicate it and produce the fix and get everything in place. And so we got some reviews, and it was just easy to get out of band. So that way the next bug fix release doesn't mess with things. So we did get that release out yesterday, and it's mostly impactful for SDK users more than Helm client users because the client would just flail more than anything, and it's not hard to remediate. It's mostly impactful for SDK users where you could denial of service their application by putting in bad input. All right, so that's all I have on the security release. I see we have a discussion here. So, Michael, you've got a pull request, and I think this one's been brought up before.
Yeah, it has. So I guess it's just
Please nag away.
it's a relatively small change. I guess what it does is just an install or upgrade. Um, when you use the minus minus weight option, just if
Yeah.
some intermittent issue happens, then that bombs out. So I guess just add a little bit more robustness. And it's really just adding one message just to check the status code. And if it's something that's worth trying, then it just retries it. Subject to a maximum number of tries and subject to the timeout value not being exceeded.
All right.
So I mean, it is quite small. It's just a couple of dozen lines of code, really, and it saves a lot of frustration, I guess, when you hit, say, an intermittent network issue or something, and it can bomb out, like, so it's just if anyone has time to review it, would be great.
So I will do is I can carve out time to review this one today. I know I can. So I'm going to do that after this call. I'm doing some Helm stuff for a while. I've already carved out time in my schedule. So I will do this one as the very first thing and leave it up and do that.
That's
That's
super.
I'm pretty sure I've reviewed this part PR, and I think the logic's good. So yeah, here's my vote of confidence if that helps.
That's
Great.
great. Thanks.
And I just fixed the notebox. I made one. I think Matt made one. And I think Google Docs, Joe, for the chat.
Then I think we've got the next one here, George. And this is yours. You've got a question here about this.
So when looking at the way Helm does values, there's the import values functionality. What import values does is it allows you to, in a parent chart, say I want to take some of the default values from a child chart. What I think we need to decide or figure out is the order of precedence when that process takes place. Because obviously the other way that values works, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with, is you can propagate values from your parent and CLI chart down to your child charts. So really the question is like, where in this propagation process should import values fit? And it has kind of important considerations for like how people might design their charts. And I think it's worked in different ways at different times in different Helm versions in the past. So there's one user who's quite adamant that we keep on changing it on him.
It's been changed a couple of times, mostly because a change went in that broke it, and we didn't catch it and correct it for some time. Import values essentially became broken. And it to say first, a pull request broke it, and then the logic actually had a bunch of weird new undocumented nuances to it, like the ordering of things. It was a mess. In any case, for import values, how did it go? Was it what you pass in at the command line, right? Whether a values file or a set, that takes precedence, right?
Yep. That makes sense to me
Then,
because that's the obvious behavior. Yep.
yep. Then anything you set in the parent chart, I think, is the next in precedent order, right? Then the values that you import come in. And then there's the child chart values, right?
So that makes sense to me because the rationale is that if you want to override the import values in your parent chart, then you can just write the values in your parent chart. If you don't, then you don't. It doesn't make sense for you to write values in your parent chart and then have import values overwrite them. Because
exactly. And that's the whole thing. And so you may want to import a big chunk of them and then change one or two, right? And so the parent chart could do that.
Right. So that's the okay. So if we consider on this is like the high level what the logic should be, I think I have enough information to go through and like write out like test cases and what the behavior quote unquote should be. And then we can maybe reconcile what it is today and then work out what should change. That I think that would be the right way forward here.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'll make some notes here and I'll try and capture what we said.
Okay.
Since I don't think anybody's done notes today, but
yeah. All right. So that is all we have in the discussion area today. I'll light load. I see Evans. Hello, Evans. Welcome.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Good. So did you have something you wanted to talk about today?
Yeah, I just posted it in the chat. Probably I should have highlighted it in the document.
I see it. Nope, that's fine. We can take it over here. Let's see what we got.
It's more of a nagging, a nag, I guess.
Yes. So yeah, the problem with this, and this is bugging us a lot, when we wrote the integration to use ORAS, we didn't shield ourselves very well from the library changing, and primitives are exposed, and we can't break our SDK, the APIs on it. And that is what keeps coming back. I can go look at the pull request again, but we can't go break our API because we break other applications, right? We have to go to Helm version 4 in order to break that. And that's one of the reasons we want to go to Helm version 4, and we've been starting to discuss it. Because once we have the people and we have the plan, then we can start going and breaking APIs. And we've already started discussing the plan to do that, but that's what keeps causing the problem here is we didn't shield ourselves. And if you look at a pattern like what we did with kubectl, in Helm, we've got the cube package where we mostly shield ourselves from client Go changes and things like that. And that's how we've mostly stopped breaking everything else. We just have to rewrite those methods when they make major changes, and we have over time. We need to do something like that with OCI handling in Helm version 4. So that way we can adapt to ORAS and not have some of those problems.
I do think for this PR, there's only one small place where the public API for Helm is changing.
And that's been the problem.
Yeah, and I think if Evans, if you can figure out a way to not have that change so that the behavior still makes sense from like a Helm SDK user, but doesn't change the public API, then I think this PR could be landed, unless something has changed. I haven't looked at this for a while. Sorry.
If I'm not wrong, because it's iterated a number of times, and it looks like now the function signature that has changed was
good. Then I will take another look at it today and see whether that's still the case.
Yeah, if I'm reading right, now it looks like a no-op at the moment. So whatever that was being removed now is the function exists. It's just a no-op. The function doesn't change. Just that there's an error that's spit out at some point.
And I think the error is going to be the problem because the function is functionally different. I'll have to go back and reread the policy on backwards compatibility, but we do have a documented policy on it just so we don't break things in people's applications, and that had been it before. I'll go look again, but that had continued to be the case. Is it did break the API per the documented policy, and that was the problem.
I see. So
And
in
you got to think there's a lot of people out there who use the SDK and they'll just go update and all of a sudden their applications will start breaking. And that's the kind of thing we want to avoid. You follow, a versioning scheme for a reason. And so
Yeah,
I will look
always own
into that,
like
but
it's
that's
from
one of
someone
the
who's
things we really want to go to Helm 4 for is also to clean this area up.
yeah.
Mm.
To echo what Matt's saying, from someone who's spent a bunch of time triaging issues, like you change one seemingly innocent thing, and then all of a sudden you've got like 15 people making making issues and complaining that you've broken their world, and it's I mean it's yeah.
Mhm.
It seems like just a small trivial thing at the PR level, but it really can escalate.
I guess one thing I could do is see whether we can functionally so remain have the functionality to remain, because then that's one thing I wasn't looking into as well. I could try and see. It's someone else who's raised the PR. I'm just interested in that. That's why.
But that's what's been the issue, is it really is. I mean, when you look at the number of people who use Helm and the Helm SDK, when you make a breaking change like that, you break those people and they come chasing you down. It ends up being more support work for us. They get angry with the project. There's a lot to it. We're not moving fast startup at this point, move fast and break things. We are that enterprise boring stability, so to speak, of a mature project. And so, in order to do that, we really need to bump our major version, and we need to figure out how to do that more easily. But we have been working on that as of late.
Okay. How's that going? If I may ask, is in discussions, or are there?
It's in discussions. It's just in early discussions to figure out exactly what we would do in order to go after it.
All right.
And right now we're just doing pre-work on it to figure out who is going to do what in order to pull it off. You don't just need a plan, you need people who've got the time to invest in executing on it. And so we're working on figuring out who would have what level of time commitment in order to execute on whatever plan we put together.
Okay.
So that's the phase we're in.
All right. Depending on how things go, I'd have some free clock cycles. So
Ooh, I will remember that.
yeah. Oh, I feel like I
Yes.
regret that now.
Well,
Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't mind to chip in.
okay.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Thank you for coming and offering your time. And if you see something you want to go work on in Helm, a bug fix, something like that, come poke us on it so we can review it. There are a number of things out there and it's hard to keep on top of everything right now. So if you've got, it's always been hard to keep on top of everything. So if you've got something you wrote and you want us to look at it, please poke us on it.
Now that you mentioned, I'm pulling out a PR I raised some weeks ago, a week or two ago.
Okay.
There. So yeah, just take a look at it whenever you have time.
Okay. I will go take a look at it. I'm going to add that to my stack of ones to go look at here.
Thank
Creating
you.
a stack of ones to look at today. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Do we have anything else? Nope. Then let's talk next week assignments. Anybody want to moderate notes, issue triage, or PR review?
I can moderate.
Moderate.
I can do
Okay.
some triage.
Okay.
I can do notes.
Could try doing some triage as well.
Okay. So Michael, notes, and I'll do PR review. All right. Thank you all. Then we can give you all like 10 minutes back. Thank you for your time. We'll see you all online.
Yep.
All right. Bye.